Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to PrimerTime Live on UCY.tv. My name is Michael.
Hey, and I'm Dan, and we have a special guest tonight, Hal, with us. How you doing, Hal?
I'm doing good.
Terrific. So how's it been going this week, Michael?
Not too bad. I think I'm doing a little bit better than you. Sounds like you got a little bit of the mange like I had last week.
Yeah, I believe you sent it to me or something. Apparently.
I believe I emailed it to you.
Yep.
That's a bummer. I wish you the best. I know exactly what that's like. That put me down for a while. You're doing all right, Cracker?
I'm doing good.
Good. Anybody get a chance to play with anything this week?
Not I.
No, it didn't sound like it. I got a chance to shoot. Did you get a chance to shoot this week, Cracker?
Say it again?
Did you get a chance to shoot this week? Well, I got a chance to shoot. I went out with my brother who was here. He got a chance to come down. We actually got to go hunting for a while. We weren't real successful, but it was just more of a chance of being out. And that's what it was about. Just sitting in the blind and having muffled conversation and getting around and walking around and then taking a cruise out there, checking the area and back. And then the next day we got to go out and shoot, and it was a lot of fun. I got to shoot something I'd never shot before. Brother's got a Blaser rifle, and that's a pretty nifty little thing. It's a straight pull bolt action. And to load it, the trigger group is the magazine. You hit the magazine release, the entire trigger group drops out, and it's a 3-round magazine on it. It's a pretty nifty little thing. A little too spendy for my blood, but pretty nice. I believe that was in 30-06, and it was it put a serious boom down and incredibly accurate at about 60 yards. It was really, really nice. I was making groups on, the little targets that have those 1-inch squares. It says shoot and see target. I put 4 into like a 2-inch area. So, I mean, that was intensely accurate for what I'm used to.
Hey, you said you shot did you say 60 yards?
Yeah, it was about 60 yards. Yeah.
Let me tell you what, that thing will shoot 1-inch groups if you know how to shoot it at 500 or 600 yards.
We were talking about that last week. A lot of rifles now, as they come out of the box, they'll outshoot what almost 99% of the people who buy them.
No question about it.
And we were discussing that along with things like people go out and spend a lot of money on the Tapco product of the week or the whatever bolts onto the Picatinny rail or something like that. And, whatever it is, if it's a foregrip, it's a laser, it's a Hello Kitty cup holder, whatever it is that goes on there. I think they're actually doing themselves a disservice. Something I've noticed from like gun shows, and especially since, all the stuff happened about a year ago and, the resultant increase in price, the AR-15 became a commodity. Those were $600 for, an entry-level AR-15. Maybe I think even the Bushmaster was $600. And those became, incredibly priced. I mean, I saw them for $2,200. But you went to the show and you saw these guys. They had $400 worth of add-on, stick-on crap on those rifles. And they'd walk around and they've got rifle port arms the first time you see them, and second time they've got it sitting on their shoulder, and third time, fourth time they're almost dragging the rifle around. And it just struck me that all these guys put tons of stuff on there, but nobody spent $12 on a sling.
Obviously, those guys don't hunt.
They don't have to walk around with it. Those are closet AR-15s.
Exactly.
Comes out of the closet, goes into the trunk, goes to the range, and that's about it. And it doesn't usually get cleaned before it goes back into the closet.
Then that's what you call waste.
Well, we were kind of getting into that, how it's rifle that needs a little bit more specialized training. It's not I don't think it's a super user-friendly rifle straight out of the box. Not like the communist stuff would be. I think the communist stuff is great right out of the box. I've never had a problem with it. I've never had a problem with anything.
I'm commie to the bone there, bud.
Never once have I had anything that was supposed to be used by the bad guys. Have I ever had anything misfire? No ammo malfunctions, no nothing.
Well, I know when those AR-15s first come out, there was a lot of guys died in the goddamn foxholes trying to clear the goddamn thing when a guy walked up with an AK-47 and blew his shit away.
Yeah,
that's the sad truth, man.
Well, I get to all kinds of things with the way that the contracts are bought and the money between them. I've recently seen that coming straight out of the Izmash factory, AK-47s that are going out brand new, and we're talking about full automatic military AK-47s that have come from the factory and going to Syria or wherever. They're being produced at about $130. That's what they get them at. And you don't even get 2 magazines for an AR-15 on a military contract for $130. I don't believe.
That is an amazing cost. It really is, Michael. And that's, I love an AK that has a sight picture with the bullseye target at 6 o'clock on them. That seems to be my favorite. So AK, I love to shoot them. When you line that bullseye up at the 6 o'clock point on the target, it hits right dead in the middle of the target. I love those guns right there. It's perfect for me.
I'm really happy with mine. Pretty much everything that I've ever fired from either Norinco or Izmash has been quality stuff.
Yeah, those are two of the top brands. I would have to agree with you.
Something I saw fairly interesting happening this week. There's a company, VHA, I think it's Buffalo Hill Armory, and they've taken a rifle called a Vepr, VEPR, which is it's kind of like a large AK-47, and it shoots a 7.62 by 54 round. They've turned around and turned that into a pistol, which has some dire consequences for every shooter out there with Mosin Nagant or an RPK or something that fires the 7.62 by 54. By turning it into a pistol, they've created a hole with or a loophole in the law that says that armor-piercing ammunition can't be used in a handgun. And that's going to take a lot of ammunition off the market.
If they can't do it one way, they're going to do it another way.
Yeah, and I find it kind of odd that this is a company that promotes themselves as looking out for the needs of shooters and the shooting community, and by their very action. And straight up honest, Phillips and Rogers did that years ago. They made that a single action pistol that fires 7.62 by 39, and I swear they sold less than 20 of them. And just by them making that pistol and putting it into production, made all the steel core 7.62 by 39 go away. And I would encourage people to visit their website and tell them, no, do not produce this.
That's commonly what is called as taking it in the shorts.
Yeah, and looks like we're doing that far too often these days.
I'll tell you one thing, having your brother on, that I really enjoyed that. That was cool.
It was great.
I bet you had a good time talking with him.
It was really a lot of fun, and I like to give a yell out to my brother and all the guys he's with there in South Korea. Miss you, man. I hope you come home soon.
Safe and sound, every one of you.
Yeah, if he comes back, I got a better hunting trip for him.
You know what else he said that I already knew, but it's just like common knowledge. An AK-47 is not an accurate weapon, just like what we were talking about. You take a most guns shoot better right out of the box than the guy that's shooting it can. AK-47s have proven themselves everywhere. And just like he said, that thing's good out to 400 or 500 yards, and that was what he said.
I think a big misconception from that comes from, the TV and the movies and the video games. when you see it on TV, it's, you know, some guys in the Central African Republic wearing a orange life jacket, holding it over his head and spraying and praying. Well, yeah, that's not. Well, that's not accurate.
That spraying and praying is exactly what they say about an AK-47, and it's pure bullshit. There's no truth to that at all.
No, I personally have never fired one that was anything less than accurate and fully functional. Every one of
even
them.
Even a wore-out one still shoots good.
I've got a friend who's got one that's got 10,000 rounds through it, and that's not just a round number off the top of my head. I know it's more than 10,000, and that thing works like it came out right out of the box, like straight out of the factory.
That's it.
Well, you know, most Marines will tell you if there's an AK sitting there, an AR, and they got to run in the woods with one of them, they'll grab the AK. So that tells you all you need to know about that weapon right there.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that was it was a black guy I knew, Lawrence. He was Special Forces Vietnam, and what he liked was a 12-gauge pump. And
yeah, that's pretty much a wake-up call right there.
Buddy, the first time I went down the Everglades hunting with that guy with a 12-gauge, I had that 870 I got in the closet right now. It's what he saw that. I want that. That's what I want to hunt. You should have saw how good he could shoot that gun. I mean, we'd be walking along there and the ducks would take off and he'd just splatter them. I mean, as soon as they splatter them. I mean, just take the gun. Oh, that's cool.
You say he was in Vietnam? Is that
yes. I said, Lawrence, you gotta stop. You gotta let him go. He said, okay, you tell me when. And I'd let them fly out their ways and I'd say now, and they were dead. I've never seen this.
So did he see any action while he was in Vietnam using the shotgun?
Yes, he was a jungle fighter.
Oh, wow.
He was one of the guys that went into the hoochies. He said, you go into one of those hooches, and the hooches would be like 18 inches. He said, when you'd walk in one, the first thing you'd look is see how wide the hooch was. And he said, you know, they're made out of grass. And he said, if you walk in one that was like 16, 18 inches wide, he said, you walked into the middle of it and you racked your shotgun. And he said, when you did that, they would just about knock the walls down coming out of it, because that's where they would hide the North Vietnamese. They would they'd have one of those hooches and they'd be all around it. Nobody didn't know they were there.
They also developed a special round for those shotguns that had what's called, I believe, a flechette in it. And that's a small miniature dart-like projectiles.
That's a needle driver.
A needle driver, yeah. Basically a bunch of needles stacked up in a shotgun shell.
I bought 5 of those one time at a gun show, and this is a while back. I'm going to say this is more than 10 years ago. And I fired them, and I'll tell you what, I was less than impressed with what they did.
He was fond of double-aught buck.
I kind of haven't agreed with the double-aught buck.
I'll tell you why I'm a double-aught buck slug guy myself.
Well,
now let's explain what double-aught buck is for people who might not understand. That refers to the size of the pellets that's in the shell. And double-aught buck, whether it's 12 gauge or 20 gauge or 410 or whatever, it's the same size pellet.
Same size.
It's just the differing amounts between different size shells. And in 12 gauge double-aught buck, you get 12 .32 caliber pellets.
That sounds like it would hurt to me.
With the pull of the trigger, you're shooting 12 .32 caliber balls.
I'm sorry. It's 12 out of a 3.5 inch Magnum out of a 2 3/4. It's 9.
I believe is what it is.
It's 9. In a 20 gauge, I believe it's 7, and in the 410s, I've seen 3 and 4 in a 410.
But still, most people have a 12 gauge, so you're pulling minimum 9 30 to 32 caliber mini balls at one pull of the trigger, which will take down the wallboard if you need to. It's a fun way to take down a wallboard.
And maybe people aren't familiar with what a 32 caliber is, but a 9mm or a 38 or a 357 is .356 to .36 caliber. So it's not that much smaller. It's hard to beat double-aught buck for when you need it.
Something else is pretty cool. There's a lot of guys here hunting with 20 gauge shotguns, and they'll buy a 20 gauge shotgun, a single shot 20 gauge with a bend over barrel that's got a slug barrel on it, a rifled barrel. Put a scope on that thing, and they can hold like 2.5, 3 inch groups with a slug at 200 yards.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a
shotgun slug technology has come a long ways from just being a hole drilled in wood that melted lead was poured in, and then you got a big old lump. Now, I mean, they're like tiny missiles inside of them.
Man, they got some awesome ones, don't they?
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of. I got a really good deal on some military surplus Winchester double-aught buck, and I really like that. It always goes bang. It was right. It was the right price, and it worked out well for me. I think I've got. I remember buying it in lots of 250, and I believe I paid maybe $100 for it at the time, and that's a pretty good deal for me. I don't have anything that shoots the big old 3.5 inch candlesticks anymore.
Hey, did you know that they had I think it was a German company that made it, but you know what a regular like a 177 or a 22 caliber pellet looks like?
Yeah.
They made a shotgun slug, a 12 gauge slug that looked just like that pellet.
Oh, the Brennecke slug.
Man, I'll tell you what.
That was
a
power
good.
hitter.
That was good, man. That thing really worked.
That was great for taking deer. That design lends itself to a whole lot of playing around. There's people that have taken that and put hardened, almost like a nail through the middle of it.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty devastating.
Well, a regular slug, look at just look at friction. You take a regular slug, it's a round thing, and some of them have got grooves cut in the slug, some of them are smooth, but it's like, you got something that's a 1/2 inch, 3/4, 5/8 of an inch long. It's a solid piece, and when you fire it, it's got friction all the way down the barrel. When you take and make that thing into like a pellet, you've got a support on the front, you got a support on the back, and you've got a lot less friction there. When you fire that thing, let me tell you what, I don't want to catch a 1 ounce pellet.
Oh,
coming
absolutely
out
not.
At 1,600 feet per second.
No.
I'll pass
the shotgun tells me to go to another room at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much a universal language. The racking of the shotgun shell says get
every
the hell
single
off my lawn.
that is understood everywhere on this planet.
Universal sound.
Yep.
I love my pump shotgun.
I like my. Let me tell you what. Everybody's got their fancy shotguns. That old 870 I got. I love that thing.
I've got an old Mossberg sitting by the door right now. So,
well,
fancy is one thing and all that, but I really like them to work. Which kind of brings us into another subject. Dan, you were talking about Remington's new pistol and something I personally have a feeling that there should be an American pistol equivalent to the Russian Makarov.
Yes, and Remington's come out with a new model, the 51, and it's pretty interesting, Michael. It's based it looks sort of like a Makarov. It's got a bigger barrel on it.
Because it's full 9x19, right? It is a full
9x19, and you can shoot plus P loads in it if you want to.
Now, is it a fixed barrel like a Makarov, or does it have a Browning type lockup?
It's a fixed barrel, but it's a fixed barrel in the slide itself, actually. So when you take this gun apart, the slide and barrel, the whole 9 yards comes right off the front of it.
So it's not like a Makarov where you remove the slide and the barrel's still attached to the frame.
That's correct, but it's all one.
I'm gonna save you guys from blasphemy here. I mean, my God, a 1911 is an American pistol.
It is, and I see that, but the problem is everybody makes a 1911, and it's
they might, but I'm telling you what, the Germans had their Luger. The Russians had their Makarov, and we had the 1911.
I agree with you. The 1911's got the stopping power. What I'm looking for is something that is less intensive in the maintenance and the breakdown. Something that would be the equivalent of the Makarov. Something super easy that you could take somebody and say, "Look, you got 20 minutes. You've just learned how to use this pistol."
Where 357 Colt Python with a 6-inch barrel.
I agree with you on the wheel gun. I could never go wrong with the wheel gun.
You said simple and easy to do.
The problem is the manufacturing of that is just a little more intense than the manufacturing of a semi-auto. I've got like a couple ideas floating around in my head of things that are needed, and I really think that a bare bones, simple, no frills American pistol is needed. I've also got like a design for something that is completely not allowable right now without a whole bunch of stamps, but that's my own little design.
Michael, you're not going to start turning out zip guns, are you?
No, but I'll tell you what, straight up honest, you know the orange Olin flare pistol? Anybody who's been around boats or outdoor equipment, it shoots a shortened 12 gauge flare shell. I think it's a 2-inch 12 gauge, and it's just a flare. It's got no kick to it. It just pushes the whatever it is, the magnesium and aluminum out of it. I'd like to have something that same size, that same design, and I would like it to like fire like 4 22 magnums at the same time.
Pepper box with one trigger.
Yeah, pepper box.
But you've got 4 shots coming out at the same time, and it's not something that you'd rob a store with. It would be of a large enough size to where somebody who's not familiar with weaponry would be able to use it. The ammunition would be cheap enough to where it would encourage some sort of practicing. And with 422 magnums hitting you, that's like an 88.
Incredible knockdown power.
Yeah. Sure. You know, I mean, but you know, that moves into the area of, you know, one fired shot per trigger pull. But
yeah, well,
that's kind of,
they got those judges that shoot, they've got those defensive rounds for a judge. It's a 410 that's got 3 discs and a buckshot in the front of it.
I'm familiar with those, Hal. They're awesome rounds.
They also make
I'll tell you what, man, that would get King Kong off the butt.
That number 4 turkey shot in 410 is pretty good. Number 4 turkey shot, I believe, is a 177 caliber BB. And that's pretty devastating. I think they hold, in the 410, I think they hold 56 of them.
Wow. That many of them fit in there?
I think so.
That's a devastating round, then. It has to be.
I'm pretty sure in the 12 gauge, it's 130 or 140 that fit in there. And it's, that rips up a pumpkin something fierce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a pumpkin wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but if
a zombie. How's that?
The zombie pumpkins.
Oh, not a zombie pumpkin. You can't kill those.
Speaking of which, like, you brought up zombie. It's kind of funny. I got a chance to take some people shooting this week that have never been shooting, and I personally right now in my personal carry piece, I have zombie max ammo in it, and it's not because of the zombie. It's just because during this recent rush, it was the only decent hollow point that you could find, and one of the people I went with had been shooting before, and he carries the Hornady critical defense, and we were showing it to his daughter how they're the exact same bullet, and she picked up on the marketing angle of the zombie ammo real quick.
Oh yeah, that's it. It is.
That's great ammo. I think the Hornady critical defense ammo.
I like Hornady critical defense. The only caveat I would have on that is to make sure that it functions in the weapon you intend to use it in, and that may require spending a box.
Yeah, it does. It does sort of have a steep angle to the.
It may not feed in everything. I've noticed that it does not really like to feed in some older high powers, but the older high powers were designed around a full metal jacket bullet that's, kind of almost like a ball ammo.
Yeah, ball. Exactly.
And,
ball ammo type.
So I would say,
call me old fashioned, but, if when it comes to critical defense ammo, I like 150, 165 grain 308. That's critical defense. Oh, that works every single time it's applied.
I love my 308. I think it's a great weapon.
I had the same gun. I've got a 308 is what I hunt with now. I had the same exact gun in a 30-06, and I've shot them both. And the 30-06 might have kicked a little bit more, but as far as shooting them, I can't tell a whole hell of a lot of difference between the 30-06 and the 308. Except my 308, you're limited to once you get past a 165 grain bullet, the 30-06 definitely does better. But you can go to a 220 grain bullet in a 30-06. But the whole time I was hunting, I bought one box of 220 grain 30-06 bullets. I never bought another one. I went to the lighter bullet because, goddamn, you shoot something without it, there's nothing left. It messes everything up. It's a violent round. That's a big. Look what the 50 caliber does to people at a mile. If you hit somebody with a mile, it blows them in half or blows their leg off. Well, it does the same thing to the animal that you're shooting. If you're hunting for food, you don't want to do that.
No, it's all about when you're hunting for food. It's all about taking the maximum amount of meat back home.
That's it. When I'm hunting for food, I shoot for the head anyway. I don't shoot to
the head. You aim for the head.
Hell yeah! You take a deer and run a bullet through his head, he's dead.
I think a bullet to the deer's neck, he's dead too.
Well, you break his neck. Same thing. You shoot behind the ears or shoot right under the ears. You blow his brains out or break his neck, he's dead.
That also gets into something where you have to use the appropriate sized round for the game you're taking. Nothing really. I look through a couple of hunting forums every now and then, and nothing disturbs me more to see a skinny, starving deer that's had its lower jaw blown off by some dude who thought he was going to be, a video game sniper, and he shot a deer with a 22 and blew off its jaw.
That is terrible, Mike.
22. Oh yeah, well, shit. You're talking about that's what we commonly refer to as assholes.
That's against the law.
You're not supposed to hunt with a rimfire rifle, something like that. Even I don't even think you can't hunt deer with a 223, can you? Maybe a 223 you can. 22 is the cutoff. The 22 you can't shoot it with.
Well, I believe in Texas it has to be a centerfire cartridge over. I believe it's a 204 is what it has to be. I don't believe anything smaller than a 204 you can use.
204. That's a very zippy round, which you kill.
And it's not actually talking about the 204 like the 204 Fireball or anything like that. It's just a bullet with the diameter of 204.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Michael, I want to get back to your hog hunting for a minute. How exactly do you hunt hogs down there in Texas?
Well, what we did was we got out a little bit late. What you'll do is we set up in a blind and got ourselves situated in a blind, and then the blind was about 40 yards from the feeder, and you just kind of wait. And we didn't see anything that night. We did see a couple of rabbits, and we got the rabbits. But there was no hogs, and I
You mean what's left of the rabbits you got?
Actually, a 30-06 blaster. Did that really kill the rabbit?
It did kill the rabbit, but the thing is it wasn't like you'd think it was. There was not enough for the rabbit to stop the bullet, for the bullet to do what it was intended to. So it was pretty much a through and through.
Yeah.
So it was just better just to spend the time with my brother. Where it was at. The next day was kind of fun.
Beautiful thing.
The next day was fun. We got to play with some stuff in the light, and
did he show you how to shoot?
He did. He put me through school. That boy's got some good eyes on him, and he's doing well. I have no problems with him defending himself.
His life depends on it. I'm glad to hear that.
So
everyone should thank Nick for his service to our country. I'm telling you, what those kids go through nowadays, 4, 5, 6 deployments overseas like that, it's incredible to me.
No, they get 4 or 5, 6 deployments, and then they come back to a country they did not leave. It's not the same country he left.
No.
And I think that's
not the same country that any of us grew up in.
No, absolutely not.
We have watched our country we have listened to the bullshit that's been put out over the airwaves, and we have watched our country be systematically taken from us while we sit here doing nothing. We believe that the voting shit worked, didn't. We believe that the calls to the local whatever work, it don't. I mean, what we see going on, man, don't even get me on this road.
No. Well, I mean, we've seen it. We've heard the calls. Larry Patton McDonald said it the best. There's 4 boxes of Liberty, and the soap box, the out box, and jewelry box, and we're all out of boxes. After this box, there's no box left.
We ain't out of boxes yet. The box that's going to work ain't been played yet.
That's
and
right.
Everybody's saying, "Oh, that box ain't going to work. That box ain't going to work." Well, I can tell all the ones that are saying that box ain't going to work. They better hope it does.
Yeah, because if not, the next box is a bento box, and that's your lunch coming from your Chinese overlords at your factory job at the iPhone factory.
Well, bud, I ain't gonna have to worry about that box.
Yeah, I don't believe I'll be getting the iPhone factory job either. I'm not signing up for that one.
No, they count me.
But so anyway, so the day after, we were out in the blind until about, I don't know, probably we got out there probably a little late. We were out until about 1 in the morning or so, and then the next morning we got up. He didn't get to spend a whole lot of time, but we'll work that out in the future. But we got to go out and shoot. We just took him out to. We've got it's not really a public range. It's where the county dumps all the old brush and refuse and stuff like that. It's not an actual dump. It's just the county's burn lot. And we went out there. And we set up some targets, some just junk that was sitting around. And I got to fire that 8mm Mauser, and I'll tell you what, that's a fairly impressive round. Loud. It's got some recoil to it in the rifle that I shot it in. The amazing thing to me is that's a machine gun round.
Was it an old military rifle you shot?
Yeah, it was.
I knew a kid that had one of those. We used to call that the elephant gun.
That is a seriously large bullet.
Yes.
It's like 343 a round.
That's the gun that I think knocked the Iraqis back when they were test firing it on that famous YouTube video or whatever, when they shoot it, knock them down.
Really?
No, I don't think that was the rifle.
No, that was like a 99 caliber deal.
Yeah, I think that was that 950 JDJ is what that is. Which
the one that shoots a 2.5 pound projectile.
Yeah, the case is made out of machined brass, and I think they're $175 a round or something like that.
No, man, that's not that's drill piping.
That's what it looks like. I mean, it's a great big huge heavy thing. But got to shoot that. That was fun, and then we got to play around a little bit with teaching some new people how to shoot. My brother's wife is she's living in a state now that gives her the right to pretty much carry a gun for self-defense. And, she lives in an area that, things happen. And, so she got a chance to fire some things. She got to fire a Ruger SR9, which is a double stack 9mm. I think those hold, 15 or 17. I'm not sure. But it's got a fuller grip. She also got to fire a Ruger LC9. And that's got a single stack magazine. And she was really enamored with that. She really liked that. I think it was because it fit her hand better. And then she also got to fire a Ruger Mark II. And she really liked that because there was no kick to it. There was no anything, and she could keep 10 rounds on target rapidly.
man, you can put 10 of them right into their nose with that gun.
I like the Ruger Mark II.
Well, that's good. She was a first timer shooting, Michael. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's been the first time she's been shooting. And
so the LC9, she liked it best. She could rack it okay and all that.
She was able to pull the slide back and all that. The only problem that she had with it was once the slide's back, she had a little bit of problem dropping the slide and using the slide release. But that I think is common to that gun because I have a problem sometimes knocking down that slide release. It's easier just to pull the slide back again.
And with the Ruger Mark II, she was dead on with that 22.
We were shooting at some scrap pieces of wood. They were it looked like maybe it was a 1x4 or something that had been nailed to another piece of 2x4, and she was keeping them all into one little hunk of 1x4 at about 20 yards. So
the point I'm getting at, isn't that a shame that she can't carry that Mark II as self-protection because she's going to hit the target with it, that's what it's all about in the first place. It's hitting the target.
That's right. It's much better to hit with a 22 than it is to miss with a 44.
Exactly.
But you know what the thing about it is, though? I hear what you're saying, and you're right. But if she gets used to taking that 22 and shooting it and gets very accurate with that, then she gains confidence.
Right. And that's what it was all about.
Then she can go on to something else. But you know what you're saying about that 22? First time I went to the range with my daughter, I carried that exact same gun. I got one in there in my closet. And that's what I took. And my daughter took a 9mm that she had. She was making fun of my, 22. Come on, Dad. I said, okay. So we got out there and we get shooting. She's in one lane, I'm in the other, and put the targets out there. And I waited till she fired. And when she fired, I took that thing and I put 10. I just went bang, 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 bang. I emptied the clip. I pulled my target back in. All of them were in the black. She pulled her target back in. She was all over the place. And she looked at that thing and I said, well, baby, I said, you got your 9mm there. I said, who do you think would have hurt the guy the most? She goes, can I see that? So I gave it to her and she shot it. And my friend that is a retired sheriff, I tell you, I got one guy that's a cop that's a friend of mine. I've known him for like 20 years now. I consider him to be a friend. And I went out shooting with him and his daughter. And he bought her a SIG 9mm, and she shot that, and I took that same Ruger with me. Well, she shot that thing, and she looked at her dad, and she said, Dad, I don't want this shit. I want one of those. So he went out and bought her a Mark II. He bought her, mine's a stainless. He bought her a blued Ruger Mark II, and that's what she shot. But that is a fun gun to shoot. It's cheap to shoot, and I'll tell you what, if I shoot at you with that, you're dead.
Yeah, it's something that definitely puts them on the mark. And that kind of that brings up a lot of people. Well, if it's not a 9mm or above, it's useless. Or if it's not a 45, it's not anything. Well, that doesn't work. Maybe it's an old way of thinking or something. That doesn't work. I think especially for a woman, if she feels comfortable with it and she's going to carry it,
oh yeah,
more power to her.
This was mainly for around her house, but she carries it in her car too. She's not a personal carry, but if you
and that's where I think the downfall to the Ruger Mark II is people who might not be familiar with it. It is a full size pistol. It's got a full size grip, and it's got a longer barrel on it, and it's got a significant amount of area at the top. It's not really a slide. It's the way the pistol is set up. The bolt moves in and out of a tube that it rides in. And it's great if you have a holster and you're out at a range or something. I think it's a little less than ideal for somebody who's going to carry it concealed, or like a woman would carry it in a purse or something like that. I just don't think that's the one. But it sets them onto the right path of this is what they can handle at this point. And then there's a myriad of options in 22 semi-automatics, especially small semi-automatics. Personally, I'm a fan of the Taurus PT series, and I like the Beretta 21As. I think those Beretta 21As are just a nifty little thing.
Kimber makes some good ones too.
Kimber makes 22s that are copies of 1911s, right?
No, I'm not talking about 22s. I'm talking about the smaller pistols that people can carry.
Right.
But they're pricey.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's really kind of hard to find something that fits the budget for everybody. For my money, I really like the Ruger LC9. It came in at about, I think it was $350, right around there. What I got, extras like magazines were not anything that were going to break the bank. I think they were $20 a piece. There's a whole slew of holsters out there for them. Ranging from that $9 nylon Velcro jobby to, something that's hand-tooled leather, ostrich skin, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, there's a lot of places to step there. I think it's important for them, especially new shooters, to find something that they're very comfortable with and to not, to buy into anybody else's prejudices.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. A lot of truth. That was a very good statement to make there. That was a very good statement to make. Somebody else's prejudice, and that's what it is. The Ford lever, the Chevy lever, blah blah blah. Find something that you like that you shoot well. And I know a lot of women that can shoot some pretty heavy duty guns, but that wasn't the first gun they picked up either.
Now, that being said, she did fire in 1911, and she liked it, but the first thing she said was it was too big. It was too big. It was too heavy.
It's a big gun. When
she fired it, she really no, not by any means.
Not at all.
She really enjoyed it. I don't think that she'd. That's what she's going to go with by any means. I think that they are really looking towards the Ruger 9mm, the LC9.
They got some pretty small 45s now too.
Some of them, I'm almost scared of some of those small 45s. A lot of them, I think I'd like to wait until version 2.0 comes out.
Why would you be afraid? Why would you be afraid of a shorter, a smaller 9mm?
Not necessarily something that's like a 1911 that's smaller. That doesn't necessarily scare me because that's a design that can be adapted to pretty much any size.
Yeah, you're only shooting the thing at 950 feet per second too.
Right.
When you go up to a 9mm, the combustion pressure in that thing's a lot more.
Right. Because the 9mm will fire anywhere 12 to 1500, right?
No, I'll tell you what, a 9mm. I've got my 38 or 357. A 9mm's got a pretty sharp kick to it, really.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I was impressed with.
We use like a 147 grain bullet on that thing, Hal, to keep it subsonic.
But what I'm talking about, the difference is that, when you shoot a 357, most 357ers are a wheel gun. And when you shoot a wheel gun, you've got the gun, you've got the bullet in the cylinder, you fire it, and it jumps an air gap, it goes into the barrel, and then goes down.
Uh-huh.
When you shoot a 9mm, there is no wasted
pressure.
Hell no. Every single bit of it works right to the end of the barrel. And that's why there's more recoil and more crack to it. And there's not a hell of a lot of difference between the power of the two guns, a 38 and a 9mm. But 357, it's a little bit faster. But the 9mm, I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't think much about a 9mm. But when I started looking at the ballistics of the bullet, damn, they're right up there with a 38 special like the cops used to carry. So no wonder they went over to the 9mm. Shit, I got 18 in my hand. That's a lot better.
If you get out of the 115 grain full metal jacket cheapie load, I think you find some really, really potent bits of defense there.
That's all the rage this year is the 1911 9mm version. That's what everybody's coming out with this year. That's their new version of everything is the 9mm 1911.
See, now that doesn't appeal to me. A 1911 that's a 9mm, just because if you're going to have something that's as large as a 1911, might as well have it in 45. If you're going to make the transition to a 9mm, you might as well have the 15, 16, 13 rounds of whatever versus what do they put 9 into one of those 1911s like that?
Hey man, you look. That 1911's got a 950 feet per second. You're shooting a 200 to a 230 grain bullet. A 230 grain bullet coming to you at 950 feet per second is going to serve you a platter of shit like you ain't going to be ready for.
It's definitely a wake-up call.
It'll knock you down. Is what it's going
you
to
are done.
And if it don't knock you down, you'll be doing some funny standing up.
Well, if it don't, then the next one definitely will.
But still, you gotta love a Colt Series 70 9mm Combat Commander 1911. I don't care what anybody says. That's one of the prettiest guns ever made.
Got a Combat Commander in the 45. He loves it.
Yes, I do too. That's a great gun.
I like SIG and GSG. GSG's a German. I think they're called German Sport Group.
Sport guns.
Yeah, they're a former airsoft company, and somehow they've decided that they're going to make real firearms. They make a whole lot of like really visually pleasing weapons. They make a copy of an MP5. I believe they make an AK-47 copy. They make a copy of the German STG-44. They make a lot of stuff, but they've got a 1911 in 22 that's exactly the same size and weight. And SIG, actually, they make the exact same pistol for SIG, and the only difference is that SIG has a different finish, and it says SIG on the side, and it costs $150 more. But they're exactly the same gun. That's a pretty nifty option for somebody who may want to get into the 1911 game at a decent price with some decent priced ammo if you can find it, in the 22. I've shot one of those quite a bit. I really like it. All kinds of upgrades for them if that's your deal. If not, it's just as good as it can be out of the box. And it's fairly decent price if you avoid the SIG version. The SIG version I think you pay $150 extra for SIG on the side, and SIG's.
Oh no, it's more like $250, $300 more.
Yeah, well, I know that the GSG comes in right at about. I've seen him. I saw him around Christmas time for $300, and then I know the SIG was going for $425, $450. But I know they both had been priced special for Christmas. But yeah, it just seems that one costs a little bit more. But SIG makes some good quality products.
I love the new SIG 9mm pocket gun.
Listen, we're talking about pistols. SIG makes some nice rifles too.
Yes, SIG does make some nice rifles.
That
a little bit out of my price range.
That blaster rifle your brother had. That's about as good as you're going to get.
I don't believe that's a rifle. I believe it's called a lead delivery system.
It is a lead delivery system, and you can get all kind of lead delivery barrels.
Oh yeah,
I mean that 30-06. That was the wimp version. They got some macho bullshit there.
Yeah, the 8mm Magnum, and I think they even have one. I don't know what the
third.
It's like 9.3 by 29 or something like that. It's a magic marker of a bullet. I mean, it's huge, and that's an older German. It's a massive.
I'll tell you something right now. The 308 I got will outshoot anything that it will outshoot me till the day I die. I mean, I don't think I could get to where I could, shooting something at a mile and shit like that. I couldn't do that. I'm happy with 500 yards.
I was really happy with 60.
I'm telling you what, that thing would have went so far past 60, it wouldn't even.
Absolutely.
The 308 at 1,500 yards, Hal, isn't it dropping? Hal, isn't the 308 at 1,500 yards dropping to like 30 feet or 32 feet, something like that?
Yeah, but it'll still kill you.
It'll still kill you, exactly.
I saw.
So you got to figure in that much drop.
I saw a Marine sniper take a computerized scope and at 1,500 yards drop a mule deer dead in his tracks, and the fucking bullet fell 36 feet.
36 feet. Okay, well,
And
that's pretty close.
And it hit him like it just killed him. I mean, it was like the thing never even wiggled. He just shot it and it was dead. And it was the damn scope on the gun cost more than the gun did.
What grain bullet was he using? 168 grain?
I'm not sure. It had to be a pretty big one to go that far.
Yeah.
I would figure it'd be a bigger bullet than that. When you start shooting for distance, you use a heavier bullet. That's why that 50 caliber, and then look at the 416 Barrett. I mean, that's a big piece of lead it's shooting out there.
Well, the 50 caliber comes in at 678 grains.
That's
and
where it starts.
435 grains makes 1 ounce.
Well,
it's a chunk and a half.
It's amazing what little drop there is on the 50 BMG round at 1,000 yards. Really.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Walmart near my house is the closest Walmart to me. Is selling 50 BMG. It's American Eagle 50 BMG in a 10-round box.
I haven't seen that any of the Walmarts here. That's pretty amazing.
They've got it at mine, and it's
maybe the drug dealers are going there and buying that shit because now they got 50 calibers that Eric sold them.
The drug dealers have gone to 50 cals. Oh my God. Ooh.
But yeah, it's $6.97. It comes in a 10-round box, and it's $69.70 for a box.
Wow.
They had a 416 Barrett over at Shooting Straight, and the 10 rounds for it was $90.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen stuff like that. I'll
tell you what, that was one beautiful damn gun.
$9 a pop. Sounds like we're back in Vegas again.
Listen, that 416 is supposed to outshoot the 50.
And it's California legal, supposedly.
What about the 338 Lapua round?
The 338?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a real deal, too.
Yeah, that's a long range round, correct?
Yeah, but it's not a 416 or a 50. But yeah, hell, that's like how far, in order to shoot that range, you've got to have optics on it, and who can afford the optics to do that?
Yeah, takes $1,500 scope minimum on something like that. You're absolutely correct.
Way past my wallet, dude.
When you can buy a whole gun for that, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, they make some scopes howl in the range of $300 to $500 that are pretty darn nice scopes. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they do.
They make a lot of decent scopes that come in
on the military rifles are not $300 or $400 scopes.
No, that's true, but you can still use these very effectively at any range you want, just about. Depends on how good you get with them. That takes practice and thus money nowadays, as expensive as it is to reload and to buy new rounds.
Everything's expensive now, man. We go to the grocery store, coffee's expensive. We go to the grocery store, chicken's expensive.
I'll tell you what, I saw a box of macaroni and cheese, just plain old Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's $1 a box now.
Can you believe that shit?
Mac and crack. I don't know. I don't eat mac and crack. It's been
a while since I've eaten it myself, and I just saw it, and I was like, well, it'll still be a while until I eat it again. Top Ramen is now 5 packages for $1. It used to be 12 packages for $1.
Wow.
So
it's something else I've noticed, because we're on that subject, a lot of the higher priced bread here, they've cut it, you get like a half a loaf of bread. Instead of the full loaf of bread, it's a half a loaf of bread, and it's just a little bit less than the full loaf cost. I mean,
oh yeah.
First time I saw that, I thought there's been a mistake made here. I went through several, all of it's like this.
Well, it's the same way with ammunition. Last time I did see 22 at the store, I saw a Remington Golden Bullet, and it comes in a 225 pack now. Instead of the 5, it's a 220 instead of the 550. It's a short one, and it's a short box, and it's more than half of what it used to be. I believe it used to be $15 or $17 for the box of 550, and now the box of 225 is $11.99.
Just remember this, Michael. Obama is our savior.
He is the gun salesman of the decade.
He is so good that he was elected not once, but twice.
How's that hope and change working out for you anyway?
Well, I got a little bit of change left. I'll just give up on the hope part. No.
I'm hoping that changes enough to buy a pack of cigarettes.
As long as you got your Obama phone, correct? You got your Obama phone?
Oh, hell no. I'm a white cracker. I never got my damn Obama phone. They lied to me.
Come on now, Cracker, get your...
They didn't pay my house payment either.
No house payment, no Obama?
No! I don't know where I went wrong.
They're
You're still going to vote for him again, though, correct? I think he deserves a third term.
What? He's probably going to get it.
He won the Peace Prize, you know.
Well, or him or Arnold, one of the two.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Since the laws don't matter anymore, laws
are for wimps like you guys that really believe in it, pay attention to it. I mean, no, they don't really exist anymore. The Constitution, that's something that they've wiped their butt with that so many times they think it comes on a roll.
Yeah, pretty interesting. You know, guys, it's been a fast hour. We're coming up on the end of the show.
Well, I've enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Yeah. It's been wonderful having you on. Thank you.
As always, Hal, you're always a guest on the show if you'd like to be. We love your conversation about firearms. You've been around them all your life, just like we have, so we love you.
Thank you.
Michael, all I can say is thank you, Jules. We're looking forward to Prepper Chicks After Dark coming up after us. Thank you, Jules, and UCY.TV. We'll see you next week, I guess.
That's where it's at. I'd like to give a shout out to the guys that do our theme song. Everybody look them up, the Gitmos, Gitmos. Dan, Owl, thank you very much. UCY TV, thank you very much. Everybody, Prepper Chicks After Dark up next. Stick around. Thanks for being here, guys.